Hey, my scrappy friends, welcome to my channel. Let's do some more December daily. I'm super excited to share more of my process with you. I am working on day 9, but this photo of my cat from day 7 is also going to be on here. And I didn't do these in order. I may have mentioned that earlier. I just worked throughout the day, and I did not do my days in order while I was creating. That's why you see the fireplace one there, which actually is going to go before this, but that's neither here nor there. So I didn't have a lot going on the 9th, and but there was a lot going on in my area. We had a ton of rain throughout day, I think 8 and 9 and 10 and even after that, but on the 9th we had, it's either the 9th or the 10th, we had a lot of flooding, and actually probably just throughout that week. So anyway, it started on like the 9th. And so I just went online and I found some photos that were taken and posted of one of the local rivers. And then this other one with Santa is a town that's close by to where I live. So my house specifically, we didn't have any flooding because I live up on higher ground. And then as you go down into the next town over, you kind of start going down into where it's a little bit flatter and there's more rivers. So, but I know Charla from the Color Rush studio, she lives in the next town over from me, and she lives near the Puyallup River, and she had flooding. So it's crazy. Anyway, and as you can see, I did not spell it right the first time, and so I tried to fix it, and it looks like poop. How many of you guys have done that? And I should have just taken it up then, and I didn't. So now I'm going to have to find something that I'll probably find another tag and just put it on there or something. But the one photo with Santa on it has a guy who was wearing a Santa hat, so that's why I added that to it. And I just wanted a few extra things. I didn't need to put any of this on any of these photos. They kind of speak for themselves. And they honestly, the snowflakes and snowman, except for the guy wearing a Santa hat, snow hat. It wasn't a snow hat. It was just a Santa hat. I didn't need to add any embellishing to this. I also used those sequins, and that is from the Crafty Maven Getaway. I made a small sequin pack, so there is a few left, I think. So if anybody is interested, let me know. I have to add them to the store, but I think I have like 3 packs left. I did not make a lot. I added them to the November-December kit, but then I had a few extra, so... But they're super fun. They're kind of Christmassy, but not overly, and they match really well with like the Vicky Booten and stuff like that. So that matches the vibe of the kit and vibe of a lot of the products that I was seeing this December. And so the rest of this spread and this card is just going to be me talking about the flooding that happened. A lot of areas were closed and roads were closed, and there was a lot, like a few towns over, and I say a few towns, like about probably 10 to 15 miles closer to Seattle. They had a lot of flooding up there as well, some really bad flooding. So I mean, and even that river, it was pretty bad. I know, like, my dad, he couldn't work for a couple of days, and he works for Amazon, which was a bit crazy because right now, or during this time, they were doing long hours, and so in every day, they were basically having to work almost every day. So They were not happy that they had the clothes down. I'm just going to add these photos to this protector, but honestly, this is just for a different day. So, well, no, the fireplace is for later, for the rest of 9. So, I also had this photo, and it's just my fireplace. I think I took it on the 9th, but I don't remember. I just added it. And that's the nice thing about December Daily, is even if it didn't necessarily happen right on that day, it's very holiday themed. So, and I was looking for something to put like in that empty space of my fireplace, man, and stuff. And that little chipboard, I think it's from Salem Studio. I got it at the Allie Edwards store, with some of, it's either Salem Studio or Paisley Press. I'm not sure, because sometimes they use both things in both. Anyway, it probably is Paisley Press. And then I just added that little 9 because the other page has the big 9. So, and I did add that other one on top. And that little piece, chipboard piece, is Tim Holtz. He had this really cool pack, a chipboard pack that has doors and frame, like windows frames and some stuff and sayings like that. And so that was in the Crafty Maven Getaway kit. So I thought I was going to use that must-haves this month, because I was thinking about maybe adding something else, and then I decided no. And then I found this Mary card with the trees, and it was mostly white. And I really like that black because it kind of goes along with my photo that is really muted, and I muted it on purpose. I used a filter that was a little less color, and just picked out more of the red colors. So, and it was at night anyway. So I'm going to use this Pink Fresh Studio Paige Evans, I believe, collection. So it's a really fun. I love that pattern. It's actually, you could probably use it in January. It's very Nordic. So it's really fun. And it kind of works with a lot of the colors that I have in my album. And it's not too much. I did not get a lot from that collection. I don't even know if they had all of it at scrapbook.com, but I did make a small order and bought some papers, and that was one of them. I did get some stuff from Pretty Little Studio too, and I really like that. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the mantle. And usually, so I shouldn't say that usually. My kids generally help with the decorating, and since they weren't here, obviously I did it. And I really like doing the mantle play, so it was really fun for me to not have the kids and play it, because they'll move stuff now that they're older, and I don't mind that they move stuff. And last year they just did it all on their own. They're like, we really want to do this, so I let them. I don't really have a problem with them doing that kind of stuff, just because it gives them an idea of like what things look like and maybe what they might want when they get a little bit older and stuff. And so I just had a lot of fun. And this year I had a little snow people that I got last year, and so I wanted to add some of those and use more of my nutcrackers and stuff. So I did do a little bit of a different display on my mantle. I love having a fireplace. We never use a fireplace. Probably mostly because I don't want to pay to get it cleaned out. And my cat loves to jump up in there. Actually, both of our cats that I used to have. So I used to have another cat, Amberly. I don't know if you guys remember her, but she died a couple of years ago. And she loved going in there too. So now my other cat does. But anyway, I am looking for something to go on this card, and then I find this tree from Simple Stories, and it's perfect, and I'm going to use the All is Bright, and I'm trying to find something else to go with it, and as you can see, I'm playing around, and I do this a lot. I think that this entails a lot of my time when I'm scrapbooking, and probably why it takes me a little bit longer to get certain spreads done, because I just play around, and I'm just like moving stuff. And then eventually I decide that I need to stop, and it's fine. And it's all how it needs to be. So I use this tree, and then I use that little ornament that says deck the halls. I thought that that worked really nicely because I also used that little chipboard that says deck the halls. And then I'm going to add this twine. It adds another texture and just kind of fun. This is a fun way to add a little bit of texture without it being like super thick, even though obviously I added the thick chipboard. I mean, I'm only on day 9, and who knows what the rest of it's going to look like. Sometimes I remember this stuff and I don't go all out at the beginning, but a lot of times I do. So I'm just using this foam that I'm going to make more of a dimensional adhesive. And so I'm just going to put this, and I found that I liked using the ATG on the bottom, and then I just use the liquid glue. If I use too much of the liquid glue, it really moves around too much, and I don't like that. So, yep. So here are the photos, and I will see you guys later for another spread. Bye.